Hello guys, welcome to DTW Tutorials. Welcome. So in today's video, I'm going to be taking the cosine rule, okay, and I'm going to also be solving two WAEC past questions in this video. I've also done that of the sine rule, okay, explained it, the formula, and also on that video done the two WAEC past questions. So please make sure you watch that video and also this one, because after this video, I'm also going to be uploading another video on bearing, okay. To solve your bearing and distances, you have to know your sine rule and your cosine rule. Is very key. All right, so now in cosine rule, as I said earlier on in the sine rule, to solve for triangles that are acute angle and obtuse angles, to resolve either the sides of the angles, you use your sine rule or your cosine rule. Okay, remember your sine rule as when you have a side a over the sine of that of the angle a equal to b over the sine of angle b, and c over the sine of angle what c. Okay, that this your what, this is your sine rule. Okay, now for the cosine, and I'm just trying to just a quick reminder. Okay, and also when you have an acute triangle, remember an acute triangle, you have this acute angles, all the angles are what, less than what, 90 degree. But when you sum all of them up, you must get 180. Every angle in a triangle, the sum of angles in a triangle must always be equal to what, 180. Okay, so this is an acute angle where each of the angles are acute, which means they are less than what, 90. But when you sum them up, you get what, 180. So let's say this is A, you have a B, you have a C. Then for obtuse angle, well, when you have something like this, okay, this angle here, for obtuse angle triangle, you have one obtuse angle and two acute angles. Okay, when an obtuse angle is an angle that is what, greater than 90 degree, okay, but less than what, 180 degree. Okay, that's an obtuse angle. And it has also, an obtuse angle triangle has also two acute what angles. So when you add all this together, you must still get what, 180 degree. All right, so I'm just reminding you of what I discussed in the sine rule. Okay, so you also use the cosine rule to resolve angles that are acute angles and what, obtuse angle triangle. Okay, so this is acute, this is what, obtuse. So what does the sine rule state? Now for this, when you have an angle here A, this side opposite this angle is what, A. Okay, small letter A. When you have an angle here B, this side is small letter B. Angle here C, the side opposite the angle is called small letter what, C. So the same as this. So this is B, this is A, and the opposite of here is what, C. Okay, so the sine rule says if you're looking for, let's say, one of the sides a square is equal to what, b square plus what, c square minus 2bc, then cos, capital letter A, cos of this angle. All right, now you don't need to, when you're doing your WAEC and JAM exams, you don't need to know how to prove your cosine. As I said earlier on in the sine rule video, you don't need to know how to prove. But if you are doing further maths, please, you need to take it a bit step forward by knowing how to prove your cosine, how to this formula and the sine formula. Okay, you really need to do that's for further maths. But if it's just general maths, your ordinary maths, you just need to know the formula. Okay, so when you have looking for side A, okay, so it will be a square plus b square plus c square minus 2bc. Okay, that's minus 2 times b and c, that is what is this, and times this, the angle of what, A, that's the angle opposite what, A. Okay, so the angle opposite side what, A, so which is what, cos A. Then if you're looking for side B, which will be b square, which will be a square plus c square minus what, 2ac cos b. You can see how easy this formula is. Okay, it's quite easy for you to memorize. All right, then if it's c square, it is equal to what, a square plus b square minus what, 2ab. You can see when it is one letter, the other letters would add up, the squares of the other letters will add up. Then you subtract 2 times the other letters, okay, 2 times ab, then cos, the cos of what, C. That's this cos means is what the cosine rule. Don't mistakenly put sine. That's what students. I've seen students mixing this up. Don't do a mistake by putting a sine here. It is what cosine. All right. So that's why it is called the cosine rule. So these are formulas. And when do you apply? When do you apply your cosine rule? Okay. Where do you apply them? Okay, you apply your cosine rule when you have two lengths. Okay, that's you have two sides and the angle, and one of the angle and the included angle is what given. So let's say you have a triangle where you have this side, and you must also have one of this what an included angle meaning that an angle that's opposite to one of the sides that you're given. Okay, you're given C, you're given A, and you're also given this angle capital A. You can apply your cosine rule. Also in the sine rule, I explained where you can also apply them. Then also you can apply your cosine rule when you're given all three sides without an angle. You can see that you can easily solve for the particular angle, all right, that you're looking for. Let's say for instance you're given all three sides but you're not given angle B. So you can easily make this cos be the subject of formula and find the angle B. The same as making, if you're not given this angle but all the sides, you can easily make this for subject of formula to find angle A. Okay, so cosine rule you use to find resolve the length or the angles of an acute triangle or an obtuse triangle. Okay, for a right angle triangle you can always use your Pythagoras and your SOHCAHTOA to handle them, all right, but this for acute and obtuse you use your sine and cosine. So you apply cosine rule for these two conditions. Okay, now let's do let's solve some WAEC past questions. We're going to do two WAEC past questions. They're quite lengthy, so we have to be fast. Okay, so question 1 here under the cosine rule for your WAEC past question, it says PQRS, that's PQRS, is a cyclic quadrilateral. That's quadrilateral. It says PQ is 7 centimeter, QR 8 centimeter, PR 7.5 centimeter. A says calculate PSR. That's PSR. We should calculate this angle. That's what it says. Okay, so from here, how do we do this? Now we have three sides. Remember, if we want to use the cosine rule, if we have all three sides, we can find whichever angle. Okay, so since we have three sides here, let us find this. Now, why do I say let's find this angle? Because remember the rule, the cyclic theorem rule, which states that in a cyclic quadrilateral, opposite angles are supplementary. That's this angle plus this angle is equal to 180 degree. Okay, so if you get this, it's easy for us to get this. All right, so you can see how mass is intertwined. You can see we are applying a circuit theorem here. Okay, and this we also we're going to use a cosine rule formula here also. All right, so you need to really know all these particular math topics like circuit theorem, change of subject of the formula, which is very foundational, and one more thing that is very, very foundational, your multiplication times table is quite key. All right, yes, I know you're using your calculator, but you need to know your multiplication times table by heart. Is very, very key in maths. All right, okay, so let's do this now together. So let's find this angle. To find this angle is quite easy. Okay, if this is Q, so it means this is a small q. If this is R, this is a little r, and this, if this is angle P, this place is a little p here. That's small letter p. So from here we can use this formula by saying what q square. Remember the formula we just did. So if we're doing q square here, it means we are going to have what p square plus what r square, then minus 2pr. Okay, then cos what q. Okay, cos q, that's this angle here. So to get cos q, all right, make cos q the subject of formula. How do we do this? We have to take all this to this side. All right, so let's take minus 2pr to this side, becomes a positive, so we have 2pr cos q is equal to, take this q square here, we have p square plus r square minus what? Q square. Now to get our cos P, we divide both sides by 2PR. Divide by 2PR. So we have cos Q is equal to what? P square plus R square minus Q square divided by 2PR. Okay, so from here we can put in our values now. What's P? P square is, that's 8 square, plus what is R? R is what? 7 square. And what is Q? Q is what? 7.5 square. Remember your centimeter. If this is a theory question, please put your unit of measurement. And we have 2 times, what is P? P is what? P is 8 times what? R is what? 7. Okay, centimeter, centimeter. Okay, so here we have here 8 squares was 64 plus 7 squares was 49, then 7.5 squares was minus what? 56.25 divided by this times is 16, and 16 times 7 we have 112. All right, when we resolve this, what are we going to have? We're going to have a that's 113 minus this, we're going to have a 56.75 divided by 112, okay, which will give us what? 0.506696429, and this is what cos Q is equal to this. So so we just do the cos inverse. All right, so we have Q will now be equal to what? The cos inverse of this, okay, 0.506696429. And what will this give us? The angle Q will become what? 59.560. Okay, so but we're not looking for this angle, we're looking for this. All right, so you state in your book, all right, you say therefore, and given that the opposite angles in a cyclic quadrilateral, you must write this down, please. You must write this down. It is a theory question. Quadrilateral is what? Supplementary. Okay. Even that this is supplementary, you now say, therefore, we have angle Q, which you can just say it is what? RQP. Okay. This angle here plus PSR is equal to what? 180. That's what we're looking for. So PSR will be equal to what? 180 minus what? This angle here, which is R. Okay, angle Q. So we have here 180 minus, what do we have here? 59.56 degree. And when you subtract this, what are we going to have? We're going to have 120.44, okay, degree. All right, so this is our answer. But remember, it says give your answer correct to the nearest tenth of a degree. To the nearest tenth. I hope you know when 10 starts. You know, in your place value, okay? From immediately from the decimal point, the first number here is your 10, the second here is your 100, the third is your 1000. All right, okay, so this we're going to take it to the nearest tenth, and from here the nearest to the nearest tenth is equal to the nearest tenth is equal to what? 120.4 degree. Okay, to the nearest tenth. So you just take away this 4. Since we can approximate, if this was a 5, we would add 1 to this 4, but it is not up to 5. Okay, to the nearest tenth. Okay, you write this down. All right, okay, so this is the answer now. So our question B says, hence if SR is equal to SP, this sign means if this side is equal to SP, that's if SR, this one, is equal to this, calculate SPR, calculate this angle SPR. We have to find this angle. Okay, all right, so we're to get this angle, and the question says if this is equal to this. If you have two sides equal, you now have an isosceles triangle. Okay, so let's take out this triangle. Okay, so we have this, we have this, we have this, something like this. Okay, so this is S, this is R, and this is P. Remember, we've already gotten here, right? We've gotten here as what? Answer as 120 0.4 degree. Okay, so we're told to look for this place, and we are now said if this is equal to this, that's is an isosceles or triangle. And remember, an isosceles triangle has what the base angle is what equal. I hope you remember. Please do remember, know all the properties of your triangles. Okay, so this word an isosceles. And isosceles for triangle. Okay, so the base angles are what equal. All right, so if the base angles are equal, and we already know this, and remember the sum of all angles in a triangle is equal to what 180 degree. You have to state all this, please. You first of all, isosceles triangle, you say the base angles are equal. Okay, therefore sum of angles in a triangle is 180 degree. We now have 120.4 degree plus what? If this is x, this is also x. Okay, so this is also x, so we have 2x. X plus x is equal to what? 180 degree. All right, so from here we have now 180.4 degree. X plus x will have 2x equal to what? 180 degree. Take this here, we have 2x is equal to what? 180 minus what? 120.4. So what do we have here? We have 2x. When we subtract this 180 minus this, we have what? A 59.6. We'll now divide both sides by 2. Divide both sides by 2. Okay, and 2 divided by this, we now have a 29.8 degrees. So this is our answer. This is also in your nearest 10, so you leave the answer this way. All right, so x is what? 29.8 degree. And you now state, you say therefore angle P, which is SPR, is equal to what? 29.8 degrees. So this is our answer. All right, okay, you can say I'm managing space here, but in your exam booklet you have a lot of sheets, so just solve them. The space apportioned for this solution, or for the solution if the question comes out. All right, so this is our first question. Now let's quickly go to the second one. As I've said earlier, these questions are a bit lengthy, but let's quickly go to the second one. Okay, all right, our second question under the cosine rule for our WAEC pass question. This is also a WAEC pass question. It says in triangle this, we have PQR is what? Root 3, 1, 1. Calculate the ratio. These are the sides. This little letter states that these are the sides. So we have to calculate the angles. These are the capital letters. We have to calculate the angles in its simplest word form. All right. So for the first angle, let's say we want to calculate for angle P. Okay. So we have. Remember, let's draw a triangle. Let's quickly draw a triangle here. Let's say let's say it's an obtuse. We don't know yet what it is, but let's just draw a triangle. So we have P, we have Q, we have R. It says what? Small p is what? Root 3. It says Q is what? 1, and R is also 1. That's the sides. Okay? It's also 1. Okay, now, so to get our angle P, we do what? P square is equal to what? Q square plus R square minus what? 2QR cos P. Okay, cos capital letter P. We've already I've already shown you how to make something and the cosine formula when you want to find an angle, how you do this subject of formula. All right, so I'm just quickly going to just go straight. Okay, so we have our cos P equal to what? It's what? P square plus what? Q square plus R square over what? 2QR. So let us put in our value. Our P, what is our P? So just previously I've explained how you make your cos P the subject of formula. So I'm just going to put it. Okay. So we have cos P is equal to what? So we are going to have what? A q square plus r squared. This p we're going to make is going to be a negative here, negative p squared over what? 2qr. Okay, it's just the same thing. All right, don't be confused. If you also do this the way I did it in the just some minutes back, you would get the same thing. All right, but you know, anyway, we're solving for the triangle, so you're going to see what's going to happen here. Okay, you can always play back the video. So what is our q square? Q is what? 1. The length q is 1. We have 1 square plus r is also 1. 1 square minus p square, that's root 3 square over 2 times 1 times 1. So what do we have here? 1 square plus 1 square is 2 minus, what is the square of this root 3? This root would root will cancel, and we are going to have what? A 3. Okay, so divided by 2 times 1 times 1 is still 2. So what do we have here? 2 minus 3 is equal to what? Minus 1 over 2. So here we have this is what? Cos p. So to get p, we have to find the cos inverse of minus 1 over 2. The cos inverse of minus 1 over 2, which is what? Minus 0.5, the same thing as minus 1.5, is equal to what? 120 degree. So this angle here is what? 120 degree. All right, so to get our angle, this should be q. Okay, to get our angle q, so we have what? Q square is equal to what? P square plus r square plus 2pr cos q. So from here, cos q is equal to what? P square plus r square minus what? Q square divided by 2pr. So here what do we have? What is p square, which is what? Root 3 all square plus 2 r square is what? 1. Our side r is 1. 1 square minus q square. Q is also what? 1. Okay, p is what? Root 3. That's why it's here. Alright, divided by 2 times what? Root 3 times what? Or r is what? 1. So what is root 3 square? Alright, root 3 square is what? 3. Okay, I hope we know how root 3 square gives us 3. Okay, because remember your indices, when you have root 3 square is what? 3 raised to the power 1 over 2. And you have a 2 outside. When you open up this bracket, the powers will multiply. So you have 1 over 2 times what? 2. So this 2 will cancel out 2 and you're left with what? 3 raised to the power 1, which is the same as what? 3. Okay, I hope you remember in your sorts too. When you have a root multiplying a root, the root will cancel out and you have that value as the answer. Okay, of one of the roots as the answer. So root 3 square is what? 3. Okay, so we have 3 plus 1 minus 1 over 2 times root 3 times 1. So here what do we have? We have 3. 1 minus 1 is what? 0. So we have 3 over what? 2 root 3. Remember, you can't leave your answer like this in sort in the, this is in making, as in you have a sword in your denominator, so you have to what? Rationalize. So in rationalizing, you do what? You say times what? 2 root 3, and you multiply 2 root 3 by the numerator and also the denominator. So we have 2 root 3. So here we have this is times this, so we have 6 root 3. This will be 2 times 2, which will be 4, and root 3 times this root 3 will be what? Times what? 3. Okay, so here 3 here 1, 3 in 6, how many times? 2 times. Okay, 2 here 1, and 2 in 4, how many times? 2 times. So we're left with what? Root 3 over 2. Okay, so this is what? Cos q is equal to what? Root 3 over 2. So to get your q is what? The cos inverse of what? Root 3 over 2. And what's the cos inverse of root 3 over 2 is what? 30 degree. Okay, and also remember, when you also, before you enter your exam hall, please try to know the trigonometric ratios. Okay, like for your cos and sine 30. Okay, just have a right angle triangle like this. Let's have a 60 here, have a 30 here. Okay, and make this, the side opposite 60 should be root 3, this should be 2, and this should be what? 1. Okay, your hypotenuse, if we're considering here as the angle 90 degree angle, right angle triangle, your hypotenuse should be what? 2, your adjacent should be 1, while your opposite should be what? Root 3. Okay, make sure you have this at heart, okay, before you enter. Once you have this, you will know how to find your sine 60, and once you have this at heart, you also have a SOHCAHTOA at heart. It would also help you, okay, SOHCAHTOA. All right, so when you want to find your sine 60, you know that is what? Opposite of our hypotenuse. What's the opposite? The opposite is what? Is this, okay, root 3 over what? Root 2, over 2. That's your sine 60 in trigonometry ratio, okay? Like for your 30, when you want to know your cosine for 30, what's your cosine? Your cosine is what? Adjacent over what? Your hypotenuse. So considering angle 30, what's your adjacent? This is the opposite, this is hypotenuse, this is your adjacent, so it is what? Root 3 over root what? Over 2, sorry, over 2, okay? So you can see, that's why you can see this. Why I came here, because you know we have a cos inverse of root 3 over 2, which gave us what? 30 degree. All right, so just have this at heart, just in case you're playing around with trigonometric what? Ratio. All right, so now going further, so this is for Q. We found Q. Now let's find the angle R. Okay, so for the angle R here, we are going to have what? R square is equal to what? P square plus what? Q square plus 2PQ cos R. So where cos R will be equal to what? P square plus Q square, okay, minus R square divided by 2PQ. All you need to know is just know the formula, then you play around with change of subject of the formula, okay? Alright, so sorry, this shouldn't be a positive, should be a negative. This here also should be a negative, okay? Don't miss also the sign. You can see I've also quite forgotten, I missed this sign. Please don't miss this sign. This should be a negative, this should be a negative, okay? Always know for your cosine rule formula that the first sign is a positive, while the second sign in front of your 2p is what? A negative, okay? So here, what do we have now? What is p? P square is what? Root 3 square plus what is your q? Q square is what? That's 1 minus 1 square over 2 times root 3 times what? 1. Okay, we're having almost the same thing similar to this. So here, root 3 square is what? 3. This is plus 1 minus 1, which will give us 0. So we have 2 over root 3. Okay, 2 root 3. So this, we are left with what? 2 over 3, over 2 root 3. And you know we resolve this here and answer here for you in your theory. If it's a theory question, please resolve it again. Okay, so answer here is what? Root 3 over 2. And so where this is what? Cos R, so R is equal to what? The cos inverse of what? Root 3 over 2, which will give us what? 30 degree. But here, remember, it says calculate the ratio this. So we have here, what is our big P? Is what? 120 degree ratio 30 degree ratio 30 degree. Okay, and it says in its simplest form. So in its simplest form means if anything can go in any of this, okay, any of this ratio values here, and what can go? 30 can go. Okay, 30 in 120 is how many times? 4 times. Okay, we have 4 ratio. 30 in 30 is 1, and 30 in 30 here is 1. So this is our answer: 4 ratio 1 ratio 1. So this is the final answer. Alright, so thank you for staying tuned to the end of this video. Please don't forget to subscribe. Please share this video. Okay, please share to your friends, family, and loved ones. I think I didn't say share in the beginning of this video, but please share it. Your exams are quite close. Please share to your friends, family, and loved ones. And the next video will be on bearing, to help you solve any understand bearing, how to put your points, how to illustrate the diagram. All right, I'm going to do that for you, all right, in the next video. Okay, so thank you for staying tuned to the end of this video. Don't forget, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Jesus Christ is coming soon. Give your life to Christ. Repent from your ways, all right? Repent from every sinful ways. You know, no one, every human being, you know that there is God. You know, it is in your consciousness that there's a supreme being. There is, there's someone you have to account to, your spirit man. Even if there's no knowledge anywhere, you know that there's something you answer to. There's a power, there's a being. Okay, and that being is Jesus Christ, is our God Almighty. So give your life to Christ. For He is the way, is the truth, and the life. In Him is eternity. In Him is eternal life. Okay? Alright, so from us from DTW Tutorials, remember you are destined to win. Don't forget, in Christ, you are destined to win. Alright, in your exams, in life, in everything you do. Alright, see you in our next video. Thank you for staying tuned. See you in our next video. Bye.